Welcome to Conversations with K and J. We're your hosts, Kayla and Janae.
And here, we talk about love, life,
and lessons learned. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Daily Doses of Conversations with Kayla
and Janae.
In today's energy, we are looking at finding peace in familiarity. There's something peaceful and calming about hearing a song from our childhood or seeing longtime friends. Familiarity brings us peace in an ever-changing world. It's why so many people suggest creating a morning or bedtime routine for well-being. Familiarity grounds us when we feel overwhelmed or unstable. So let us savor the familiar moments, songs, people, and the situations that arise in our day. What you think?
I think it just saying take some time to do something that makes you feel at peace, at home, yourself. That could be like they said, a song. Maybe make yourself a dinner that reminds you of home.
Right. You saying it like that made me think of Black Cake.
Yeah.
The TV show.
Oh, the part when she
was trying to find a way to connect back with herself.
Mm-hmm.
And she started cooking.
Yeah, that's always like the easiest way to make you feel like you're home again.
Yeah.
Make some chili.
That's what we've done since
we've been
meatloaf in Mexico.
Right. Us being in Mexico, yeah. We do that every once in a while to try to, ground ourselves back to where we came from, who we are.
Right. I think this is an important message with the energy that we've been getting lately, because it is about, or has been about, leaving things behind and moving into something new, seeing yourself new. But that doesn't mean that, you get rid of every part that has made you who
Right.
you are.
Right.
It's really incorporating that into more of a version that you are striving to be.
Right.
So when we look at the tarot cards, we have the Nine of Wands, and this speaks of challenges. I'm not sure, but I think yesterday we spoke on defenses or defense mechanisms, mm-hmm. and how they can really work against you after a while. And so this Nine of Wands is really bringing to our attention how challenging times has put us in a place of growing into ways or I don't really know how to flow into it, but seeing ourselves in a completely new light. So if we go back a few sessions ago where we talked about like becoming a mother, it changes your mindset of who you need to be and what you need to do, which then could take some people away from striving for their dreams and goals, because they feel like I'm a mother now and I
mm-hmm.
have to be responsible and take care of this child, and my life doesn't matter. It's all about like providing for them. Mm-hmm. Well, this is like that. So whatever you're birthing, whatever you have created in your reality, it's not getting lost and feeling like you cannot bring the old parts of you back into it now. Like you don't, just because this level of life requires a little more maturity than before doesn't mean that you still can't have your childlike habits or mindsets. You just don't want to take on the things that keep you stuck or that keep you from progressing.
Yeah, I think it is a sad time right now. Letting go of people and things is sad, and we need to feel that. But you got to bring those things in that make you feel like you.
Yeah.
And give you that comfort.
Right. And I think that perfectly slides us into the Seven of Cups energy that we see here. There has been a lot of confusion, or there is a lot of confusing energy present with the Seven of Cups, where we may not feel like we know our left from our right, or feel like there's so many things at play or at hand that we don't know what we should be focusing or paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that's going to drive you to feel more balanced and grounded is looking at what you enjoy, what makes you happy, what brings you that peace, and then removing the things that don't. Like, it really is that simple.
Yeah.
But I think as we grow over time, we kind of make it a little more complicated. Because again, some things may be looked at as like, I shouldn't be doing that anymore, or acting this way, or enjoying this in this kind of way, but that's not necessarily true.
Right. Yeah, I like the word that you use of maturity. It is about like maturing, and when you do childlike things, people are like, oh, you being reckless, or you know, you ain't 20, you know, but it don't have to be that way.
So with the 9 of Wands, it is clarified with the 8 of Pentacles, which is furthermore confirmation of like, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing.
Whatever you doing.
Yeah. So it's working for you. Like, that's going back into the conversation of like, a master is not perfect. And that's why accepting who you are and what it is that you've become is more than enough, because you really did not have to go outside of yourself to become this version of who you are in this moment. Yes, things and people and connections and situations fell apart and fell away, but ultimately you stayed true to yourself and found even more value that you held within that you maybe were not embracing before. So again, if you are in a cycle of feeling like you have to rid yourself of everything, you do not. You just find ways to make that into who you are now, right? This makes me think of dancing for me. I'll use myself as an example because I was about to use you, but
Use me. I mean,
well, it's like with your clothing line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was the conversation about us going back, or you going back to square one and looking back at what you've created, because who you are now in the season that you're in life now is different from what you sketched or created before.
Mm-hmm.
And so to use that in this example was to say that because you have changed and evolved into more and you see things differently, or you're just in a different climate per se, doesn't mean that you have to scratch the idea of creating clothes altogether. It is incorporating ways for that to balance out with who you are right now in this season of your life.
Right. I think that's why I didn't come out with the designs that I created the first time, because I realized that wasn't what I was becoming or what I wanted to put out. Because I take the clothing line as a reflection of me. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just to create something. It wasn't just to like make money off of it. I wanted it to mean something.
Right.
And when I designed that and I didn't put it out, it didn't mean what I wanted it to.
Yeah. And I feel the same way about my dancing. That's what I was going to say. Like, every time I get in a space of dancing, I tend to go back to an old way of being or showing up within that.
Right.
And then I just like throw my hands up and be like, no, like I'm just going to chill on this for a second, because I feel like I need to find who I am in dance now instead of trying to dance like Kayla in college or.
Right. In those spaces that you're not in no more, like dancing to those songs that don't, you know,
hit the same way.
Yeah, that don't mean the same as it used to.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know we gave examples through our own creative ventures, but how can you apply this to yourself in whatever sector of life that this may be resonating with? This is, again, not needing to clear out every inch and part of you. It's taking the pieces that mean the most to you, that have always made you who you are. And I think this is a good message even for myself, because in this season of trying to figure out how I want to show up and how I want to present the things that I'm creating or putting out in the world, I am stuck at a crossroads because I don't want it to be familiar. Like, I don't want it to look the same. But I'll always know, as long as I'm authentically doing it my way, it will have the same depth. It will have the same feeling. People will know that it is me.
Right.
But that's life. I think if we all look back, again, we've changed on the outside and changed locations and jobs and things that we've done, but have still remained ourselves at the end of the day. So with whatever you're releasing and letting go, don't forget to acknowledge the things that made you who you are. And this is not staying stuck on shoulda, coulda, wouldas, because that's ultimately what keeps people stuck and in loops. So if something didn't work out, if something didn't happen, if you didn't create it when you felt like you should have, it is purposeful, because it was really just marinating for you to cook it at the right time. Right? So it has a little more flavor to it. You have a little more life to you. You have the confidence of seeing the value of yourself and what you're capable of creating. And when you believe it, other people can see it. And that's really what's going to push it forward, is the confidence that you see behind yourself and how you show up and what you put into it.
Your light is shining a little brighter.
So this Queen of Pentacles connected to the Chariot is, again, speaking on confidence, but most importantly, balance. This is the yin and yang. You should back up every negative thought with a positive, every con with a pro. And if your cons outweigh your pros, then that's how you know it's something you need to let go. But if your pros outweigh your cons, then take that with you, because again, it's what's going to keep you moving and growing. It is like the water that's going to sustain the plant's growth, right? And so the Hangman is under the Queen of Pentacles, and this is being in a state of limbo, but the Hangman is enlightened. He just hasn't made a move yet, because he's upside down, for one. So his feet is wrapped here, but the thing is, it only takes him pulling up to release his feet. You know, if his hands was tied, it would be a little more difficult. But the hands are wrapped within, like, the body. So, like, holding on to yourself. But this is needing to free yourself in this moment, because you're ready, because you have been enlightened in the way to know how to stand on your own 2 feet. And I think this kind of just goes hand in hand. I just had a really bad headache, and something told me to just go upside down. So I did a handstand for a few seconds. But it's the pressure that was like put on my head that then made it lighter or more relieved when I got upside
down.
Right?
Yeah.
No, when I stood back up.
Oh, when you stood back up, all the blood rushed back down.
Yeah.
Said. Okay.
So it's like things can feel more pressured when you're looking at them upside down, but the moment you stand upright, like you find a relief within it. It doesn't mean that you still don't feel the pressure of things. It's just not as heavy as it was when you were looking at it from the reversed position. Right. I don't know how to flow that nicely, but I think you guys can understand what I'm saying. You've been looking at something from a different perspective long enough to now that perspective is kind of hindering you and applying more pressure than it's necessary. So now it's time to free yourself and start looking at things
right side up.
Right side up. There we go.
Pretty much make a decision.
Yeah, make a decision. I think we've been walking through the darkness, through the shadows of life and reality because we needed to. We needed to see what was there and what that looked like and what that entailed. But now life is changing in a way to where we're walking back in the light. We're seeing things a little less heavier.
Yeah. We put ourselves in limbo and build the pressure up until, like you said, it's time to, you done awoken, you see the perspective of everything, and now it's time to just make the decision. There's a solution to every problem.
Yeah. But this goes back to a few episodes ago where we were talking about the longer you stay in situations that you know you've already learned your lesson around, it just starts to cause conflict and chaos and drama, right? So that's not really present in this energy because it's really you against you right now. But so you avoid making things harder on yourself. This is freeing yourself by trusting and believing in the value that you bring to this world, whether that's on a small scale or a large scale. This is getting out of that lack mindset or mentality that you need anything outside of yourself in order to be successful or abundant in the things that you are putting your all into. This is going from that lack mindset to an abundant mindset and moving forward confidently on that. Things maybe did not work again in the past because your confidence and your belief or your value of self wasn't there to back it up. And I think that's a great lesson that I've learned within dance. Like, I could never convince somebody that I was a dancer if I wasn't showing up as one, if I wasn't sitting here believing in myself. So that's kind of something to question yourself on today, of how you're showing up and if it's truly in the way that you see yourself, and what have you disconnected from or distanced yourself from that is still very much a part of who you are, that you can bring back into your reality to bring in that balance and that life into where you're going.
Yeah. Well put. I agree.
All right, so we're going to end it there. And we'll be back and check in with you guys tomorrow. We love you, and we'll talk to you in our next one. Bye.